How old are you, honey? You're 11 years old. Talk to me before we leave, okay? And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand, and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
I think I probably have a much higher IQ than you do, I suspect. I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class.
Any of you know what the phrase rule of thumb means? Rule of thumb means, and you know it, in the late 1300s in England, so many wives were being beaten to death by their husbands that the court of common law said, because women were considered to be a chattel, just like the horse or the cows or the animals in the field, for real. And a man was able to, quote, chastise his wife. But so many were being beaten to death that the court ruled in the late 1300s that no man could beat his wife with a rod bigger than the circumference of his thumb. We have a cultural problem. A cultural problem. He had hired two goons that took straight razors and slashed her face. Remember that? No man has a right to raise a hand to a woman in anger other than in self-defense, and that's rarely ever occurs. And so we have to just change the culture, period, and keep punching at it and punching at it and punching at it. It will be a big, no, I really mean it. It's a gigantic issue.
And when they cut to the President of the United States.
As U.S. Vice President, Joe Biden couldn't keep his hands off Carter's wife, Stephanie. Stephanie Carter seemed frozen as Biden's grip seemed to last too long. Things went from uncomfortable to plain awkward as Biden bent down slightly, apparently to whisper in Carter's ear. The so-called awkward moment attracted media interest immediately, but Biden is no stranger to this particular situation.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it. Remember, no serious guys in your 30s. Okay?
I am a Zionist. You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist.
Not only our Muslim communities, but African communities, Asian communities, Hispanic communities, and the wave still continues. It's not going to stop, nor should we want it to stop. As a matter of fact, it's one of the things I think we can be most proud of. So there's a second thing in that black box, an unrelenting stream of immigration. Non-stop. Folks like me who were Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America. Absolute minority. Fewer than 50% of the people in America, from then and on, will be white European stock. That's not a bad thing. That's a source of our strength. The culture, our culture, our culture. It's not imported from some African nation or some Asian nation. It's our English jurisprudential culture, our European culture. I have a beautiful sister like you guys. I swear to God, you used to say, you have one job, keep the guys away from your sister. You're in trouble. Hey, Bridget, how old are you? 16. Uh-oh.
And this is
I hope you got big dogs around the house.
Big dogs.
Can I have a picture with just the kids?
Absolutely.
Forget the adults. Come on. You get right in there. Come on.
Joe Biden wouldn't let Hillary go as they met on the tarmac at Scranton Airport.
Nothing to see here, right? Wrong, because the vice president wouldn't unhand Hillary for almost 16 seconds.
Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains. And there was a dirty little secret. Those of you who are older know, everybody knew somebody whose wife got slapped around. But you didn't say anything. That was private. Nobody said anything. You didn't interfere. Okay? Promise? I'll bet you're as bright as you're good looking. I tell you. Go ahead, the next question.
I love it. Okay, over here.
Washington Post, New York Times, all these guys. You ought to go back and talk to them, okay? All right? And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.